we take a hard look at the HBO teen phenomenon that is Euphoria. Look, there's no denying that Euphoria has become a cultural moment. Whether it's the stellar performances, the cinematography, the makeup, the costumes, the controversy, it has become a water cooler moment. People have strong feelings about it. And coming into this season, there was so much hype. So let's talk about it. First things first, let's give credit where credit is due. Zendaya once again gives an award-winning performance as Rue Bennett. This show, like all great pieces of art, reflects the rawness of life. There are no perfect people in this show. There are only people trying to do their best to survive. And Zendaya embodies that perfectly as Rue. And while her character makes some questionable choices, we still root for her because at the end of the day, she's a kid trying to figure out life. And Zendaya reminds us of that. She gives such a humanizing performance. I can't even imagine anyone else playing Rue. And speaking of characters, Hunter Schafer as Jules is also fantastic. This season, we see more of Jules' backstory and motivations, and Hunter just continues to get better and better, and the chemistry between her and Zendaya is so palpable. Also, shout out to Eric Dane as Cal. He brings so much intensity to this role. His storyline this season has been heartbreaking, but he carries it with such honesty. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the plot. Okay. Season 2 of Euphoria feels like a fever dream. Don't get me wrong, a fever dream can be a beautiful thing, but it's not always pleasant to remember. And while I appreciate the ambition with these storylines, I feel like there is a lack of focus. And if you squint, you could say that the plot of this season is about Rue's relapse, but I think most viewers are invested in the characters. And I think that's where the show succeeds. When it sticks with the characters, the show is at its best. When it tries to go beyond that, it falters. And I know season 1 had its own issues with pacing, but it had a rawness to it that felt necessary. This season, I feel like we're just treading water. And I'm hoping the second half of the season will make more sense. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Who cares about the plot when you have visuals like this? And you're right. The cinematography of this show is gorgeous. It's artsy, it's experimental, and the way they use practical effects and set design is commendable. And I appreciate what they're trying to do, but at some point, it feels like the visuals are more important than the story. And that's not always a bad thing. In fact, some of the most artistic films do this. But the difference between those films and Euphoria is that those films do not necessarily need a plot to succeed. They're more concerned with the message and the feeling. Euphoria is trying to do both, and I don't think it's succeeding at either. The other thing that this show does well is give women iconic meltdowns. From Maddie's bathroom meltdown to Cassie's, this show gives the women of today what they've been looking for, a place to put all their angsts and frustrations. And Sydney Sweeney as Cassie gives us a powerhouse performance. Her facial expressions, her body language, everything about Cassie's meltdown is so authentic and real. And you can't help but feel for her. And yet we still understand why the other characters are frustrated by her. Again, this is a testament to Sydney's performance. So here's what I think of Euphoria. If you like your stories character-driven with lots of room for artistic interpretation, then Euphoria is for you. If you like your stories to have a clear beginning, middle, and end, then this might not be for you. Look, there's no denying that Euphoria is a beautifully crafted piece of art. The acting is superb. The cinematography is gorgeous. But I think it's more of an experience than a show. And I know that sounds pretentious, but it's the only way I can describe it. I love that about it. At the same time, I wish it had a stronger plot. I feel like if this was a book or a movie, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But because it's a TV show, we have to evaluate it differently. And I just hope that the second half of this season will be more cohesive. But until then, we will continue to live in the wasteland that is the internet and wait.